Good evening, and welcome to our Jazz Vespers service. And we're going to get started now. It's nice and cool in here. Tonight we have a wonderful, wonderful group. My friend Craig and his buddies. They were here 2 years ago. We had a great time. So we're going to start by having Yvette, my wife, come up and give the scripture.
Happy summer day. How y'all doing? Oh, it's so nice to see all the faces. Yay. I'm going to read scripture, Psalms, chapter 32, verses 8 through 11. I will instruct you and teach you in the way you should go. I will counsel you with my loving eye on you. Do not be like the horse or the mule, which have no understanding but must be controlled by bit and bridle, or they will not come to you. Many are the woes of the wicked, but the Lord's unfailing love surrounds the one who trusts in him. Rejoice in the Lord and be glad you're righteous. Sing, all you who are upright in heart. May the Lord add a blessing to the reading. Barbara Nathanson is already here, and she is going to introduce our artist for the evening.
Well, it's good to see all of you folks here, and I know you're going to be in for an awesome evening of music. I was listening to them rehearse. It's going to be marvelous. And of course, as you came in, you saw that we have an incredible artist again. Isn't it amazing how many marvelous artists we have in this Los Angeles area? Got to get out and look at them a lot. The gentleman we have tonight came by a big luck of it. I feel like kind of like, oh, something wonderful fell in my basket, because our artist last month had him come with to see her work, and he's a friend. And when I found out that, oh, he's an artist too, and looked at his work, I said, can you come? And he said he could. So I'm going to let him introduce himself to you. His name is Rodney Nelson, and he'll tell you a little bit about himself, and you be sure and go out there and find out more.
Gosh, I feel like a minister here. The sermon today will be... No. Anyways, my name is Rodney, as Barbara so lovingly said, and my journey's been kind of a strange journey in life. It began in college on the East Coast. I grew up in Seattle, and I had a career in commodities after college, and then discovered in my late 20s that I could sing classically. I eventually chucked the grown-up job, went off and sang for 20 years. During that period, however, I had an accident with a gym. It's not always good to go to gyms, it seems. And I was hit in the head. I worked my way through that, but during that period, ultimately I came down with Parkinson's. It ultimately affected my singing voice, but it has not affected my love of art. And so 10 years ago, I began studying art. And it's something that I shared with my mother when I was growing up. She was an artist. And the hard edge stuff in particular, I look at it as Parkinson's therapy. And it's my joy, and it's my place of rest. So anyways, enjoy a wonderful evening of music, and thank you.
The Idiomatiques. Gypsy Jazz. I think they were here not last year, but 2 years ago, I think it was. And we had a lot of compliments about the group. They're wonderful musicians, and they're funny. So, what? Yeah. So, and Craig, who's the last one to come up, he's forgot something. He's my buddy. We both studied with horizontal composition with Spud Murphy. Spud was one of the great arrangers of the big band era. So, and this is my buddy, Craig Sharmont.
We appear to be overdressed. Yes, it could be worse.
George is updating his Facebook status to working, which has been months since he was able to do that, so he's glad to do that.
In about 45 minutes, he'll have to
One,
change
two,
his status
test, test.
again. Okay, ready?
Charman.
Brian Mann.
Thank you.
Thank you, and good night.
Well, you know, that didn't get the laughs it has in the past.
Yeah, and
Do you think maybe the 50th time you used that line, it might be losing some effectiveness?
I thought it was perfectly
I was thinking
delivered.
the second time he used that line, it had lost its effectiveness. Anyway, we're just kind of dialing in our levels.
And we have a new set list, but which I'm not aware of, Craig.
We're just going to keep reading it down until...
Okay.
Yeah. Scooby.
Okay. So this is the one about the cartoon dog Scooby. And it's a question, we're not going to sing the lyrics, but the lyrics are about where does Scooby go? You know, he's on camera. You never, I mean, you know, you have to take him on a walk, right? If they got to go potty sometimes. And you never see him go. You know, I feel bad for him. It should be the Dog Actors Union should really get on that. Anyway, this is Scooby-Doo.
This is one of our greatest works.
What? Scooby-Doo by Brad Meyer.
Thank you, Kim. Kim originally started out as a professional whistler, but hauling that instrument around was too much for him, so he decided to take up the bass.
Actually, now after the lip reduction, it's much easier, but since I play the bass anyway, I just bring it. Here's another Brian Mann original, just because you haven't bolted from the pew already, we thought we'll try another one.
It's because they're bolted to the pew.
Oh, the pews are bolted to the floor.
And they're bolted to the pews, so they can't bolt from the pews.
So you're saying the whole situation is rebolting?
Yes.
Craig made me say that.
Yeah, we worked on that for days.
That was on the drive down.
Saying nothing. My mic's not on.
Oh, yeah.
One,
Okay.
three. We're musical riff-raff.
Always coming in last.
Hey, I've got Chris Kraft.
He's gonna have some fun.
Yeah.
Hey, I got some nice Bologna.
I've got some provolone.
That sounds cheesy.
I've got some cold Corona.
Tommy. Let's go have some fun. Once you get past how do you do, you're gonna need a line or two.
Just make sure the line is right for you, Craig.
I'm an organ donor.
So admirable.
I'm from Tucson, Arizona. Go
It's hot there, right?
Hey, my son-in-law's a stoner.
Gets it from you.
Let's go have some fun.
Let's go have some fun. Let's go have some fun. Once you get past how do you do, you're gonna need a line or two.
Just make sure the line is right for you, Georgie.
I can see the moon in your eyes.
I'm still from Tucson, Arizona.
Ah, si, but I'm from Barcelona.
Oh, so cultured. Hey guys, look, I got a honer.
I refuse to look.
Let's go have some fun. Let's go have some fun. Let's go have some fun.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That's the title track of our very first album, Let's Go Have Some Fun. And by the way, we do have CDs for sale in the lobby afterwards.
Amazing.
It's amazing segue how that works out. And so please visit my lovely wife and my soon-to-be son-in-law, and they will set you up. Anyway,
Yes, there he is.
there they are, right
To
there.
be son-in-law.
I don't know if there's an official title for that. My daughter's fiance, I guess, is official, or just that dude is quicker, or soon to be borrowing money. I don't know how. Is there a title?
No, I think he'll be loaning you money.
Actually, the best title is my computer consultant, because now finally somebody in the family knows what to do with all the zeros and ones. Anyway, and he knows what to do with your 5s, 10s, and 20s. So there you go.
We want to do a song right now, arranged by Mr. Kim Collins.
Oh, that's right.
It's called Big Noise from Winnetka, which is not down the street over here. It's, where is Winnetka?
It's a suburb of Chicago.
Chicago.
Thank you. Big noise from Winnetka.
We want to do a song written by Django Reinhardt. He would often put the names, put titles of the year behind the name of the song, so you would know what year it was made. This one is called Swing 42, so you can guess when this song was made. Any guesses? 1982. Perfect. Glad we're paying attention. Does anyone know who Django Reinhardt was? Okay. Then we don't have to explain. Oh, yes, you were going to say?
Wasn't he a plumber?
He was our plumber, actually.
He was,
You borrowed him.
Inspirational plumber.
He only had, like, 3 fingers to do his plumbing with, right?
Yeah, that's what it was.
Okay, George.
Sorry about that. That was
Okay.
very funny.
We're trying.
Yay for trying.
Thank you. Swing 42.
So we're going to feature a composition of Craig Charmat's. By the way, this is George Quirin.
We need to introduce everybody, I guess.
Yeah, and I'm Brian Mann. This is Kim Collins on bass.
Oh.
And Craig Charmat, we've mentioned.
And Brian Mann.
And George is phenomenal all-around musician, and he's learned this gypsy rhythm style, which is called la pompe. And it's a very specific technique that takes years to learn. And he managed to do it in only 30 years. So no. Anyway, we're going to do an original by Craig, and I'll play a short introduction. Greg Sharmat.
Brian Mann.
George Guerin.
He finally figured out which mic didn't need to be on. So, Brian, boy, that sure is an interesting instrument you're playing there. It's got all black keys and it makes some bizarre sounds. I mean, even more bizarre than a usual accordion makes, and that's saying something. Would you tell the folks about it, please?
Well, this is a digital accordion. It's manufactured in Italia and in Italy. But the electronics are designed in Japan by Roland Corporation. The chairman of Roland Corporation is an accordionist. And
No.
so he designed this to give accordionists all the sounds that keyboard players have. And it's a little bit dangerous in the hands of an accordionist. But and anyway, so it actually has it. You play it like an accordion. You control the sound volume with the bellows. But it's all digital. There's no actual reeds or anything in it. So you can play any sound you want, including an accordion.
And sometimes a guitar, unfortunately.
Yes. And sometimes a voice, even more unfortunately.
So let's do C'est la vie, is that okay?
Sure.
Okay. So this is a song we actually ended up getting on the charts, a song I wrote. I came from smooth jazz, kind of groove jazz, and I wanted to see how it would work with a gypsy jazz band, and we were fortunate enough to have this song land on the Billboard charts for about 11 weeks. And it's kind of a funk. It's normally not done with this kind of instrumentation, but we're going to do it anyway. So it's called C'est la vie.
C'est la vie by Craig Sherman.
You might have heard our drummer. We have a drummer who plays with his mouth, Kim. It was, I don't know.
What I do in my own time is
Yeah, he was playing the drums back there and in the mic, and it's pretty good.
Thank you. All in one. Yeah, I don't need you guys. What was I thinking?
Yeah. I don't need you.
We're going to do another song by Brian Mann. Oh. This was titled by George called Big Blue Thing. We don't know what it means. We actually don't want to know what it means.
So don't ask.
So don't ask.
You're better off.
I won't tell.
1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3. Big Blue Thing.
That's fine. Thank you.
Lanny, how much time do we have?
Whatever.
We can do one
Sure.
more.
Yeah.
You want to hear one more?
Yeah. Please see us. You've been such a wonderful group here. I appreciate it so much, and we feel so welcome here by your congregation. It's really been a nice thing for us. Appreciate it. And we are the Idiomatiques. And the hardest name in the world to spell, probably the worst name for any commercial purpose, but
So
there
of
it
course,
is.
that's the one we
That's
went
the
with.
one we picked, of course.
What's our name again?
The Idiomatiques.
I can never remember that.
The reason we chose the name was the closest French-sounding word to the name idiots. So that's how we ended up with it.
And anyway, thank you so much for welcoming us here. And we're going to close with a classic. What is it, Kim?
It's Beethoven's Ninth Symphony in Q flat.
Okay, here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. We have the Idiomatiques.
Woo, they were wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. You make me smile, you know, and you also make me want to dance. Okay, so next time we're going to put it over there in another room and we're going to dance, okay? Okay, they came all the way from Santa Barbara to come here for us. And they had a hard trip getting here. We thank you. He used to work here.
For 2 years, I was with the alternative worship service here.
That's right. And ageism happened to you, didn't it?
Yeah, Guy Moon was running it at the time, but yeah, 2 years I worked here on the weekends, every other weekend.
Yeah. Well, I usually do choose a homily every month, and I couldn't think of anything, and then this word ageism came into my brain, and I couldn't figure out how to spell it. Okay, and I have a master's in English, but I couldn't figure out how to spell ageism, so I asked Siri, and you know that lady on my iPhone, how do you spell it, and what does it mean? What does it mean? Well, oh, there you go. You see that? The new republic, greedy geezers, that's what they think of us now. Okay? Us who are now 60s, we're going to take from them, whoever them is. See, I've told you, even the master's in English doesn't get you covered. But that's about ageism. And ageism is not a nice word. It's a new word. It came in 1968. The term ageism was introduced by Robert Butler in 1968 to take advantage of the effectiveness of the terms racism and sexism in identifying and promoting changes in attitude. Ageism is more broadly populist term and less obscure than, now see if I can say this word right, gerontophobia. In other words, people who are afraid of getting old. Are there any people like that here? 1 or 2 or 3, 4. Okay, you know, something that none of us really want to do is get old. But we don't have another choice. When we breathe our first breath, we're on our way towards our last. And so far, no one has come back to tell us different. Jesus is the only one who has come back. And the next time he comes back, if you're Christian, you better be ready to join him. By that, I mean, you better be prayed up and have no doubts about who he is. Now, if you're a follower of Buddha, you can get another chance. But even then, you better have lived right, or you can come back as a toad or a snake, starting from the ground up and over again. Wouldn't that be awful? Coming back as a snake with a brain of a pea? And the thought makes me squirm. That was a joke. And now this is another quote from Robert Butler, and it's on combating ageism. Ageism, see that? That's what the young people think of us. This was in 2015. Ageism makes it easier to ignore the frequently poor social and economic plight of the older people. We can avoid dealing with the reality that our productivity-minded society has little use for non-producers. That's what they think we are. Non-producers. In this case, those who have reached an arbitrary age defined as retirement age. We can also avoid, for a time at least, reminders of the personal reality of our own aging and death. Okay, so sometimes we avoid thinking we're getting old by getting facelifts and dyeing our hair, getting hair plugs and things like that. But y'all, you're gonna get old. But my reason for picking the top is because I finally realized I was getting old. I mean, they say blacks don't crack. Do y'all know what that means? You know, but we do crack inside. Yep, I think I look pretty good for 69. What do you think? Huh? Pretty good, pretty good, pretty good. Yeah, but I'm slower. My body hurts in new places I never knew I had before. I have 2 metal knees, and the disc in my back are trying to connect with each other by forgetting the cartilage between them. And then there's this thing called memory. Some of you may not know, but I used to be on a great television series called ER. Yes, ER. Look at that. See me in there? Right there. And you know what else? I got 2 ERs here. Ellen Crawford and Michael Genovese. Ellen was the nurse with me. For 15 years we played on that show, being nurses and helping George Clooney and all of them act like they were doctors. They acted pretty well. They're very successful. And we did it, we did 23 shows a season. I mean, it's not like the shows today. They only do 7 or 8 shows. We did 23. I played Halle Adams, and I had to memorize technical terms. I didn't have a clue what they meant, and in a couple of days, or right at the moment, right? Right, Ellen? They would just, you know what? I'm gonna tell you a story. There would be like 22 of us playing in one scene. We started the Steadicam scenes. Okay, number one person started it. They would start talking, and the Steadicam would follow you and follow that person to the next person, to the next person, to the next person, throughout the hospital. Now, pray you're not the last one who messes up. She knows exactly. That means you have to start all over again. And that could happen 25, 26, 27, 28 times. But we'd get it done. Yes, sirree, Bobs. We would, wouldn't we, Ellen? You know, she's still my best friend. Okay? Well, and the memory thing. I worked with Melissa McCarthy last week in her new movie, and I forgot a paragraph. I could not remember that paragraph if you squeezed me. Okay? Now, I'm going to tell you something. I felt really bad. But you know what? I talked to someone who was older, 85. Her name is June Squibb. She got nominated for Academy Award, and she's working like crazy. And she said, "Oh, that happened to you? Oh, honey, it happens to me all the time." That's the way she talks, if you know her. She says, "All you do is smile and keep going. That's it." She was right. That's all you have to do is smile and just let it out. You know, and sometimes, you know, I would walk to the kitchen and forget why I was headed to the kitchen. Do you do that? I mean, I'm making a joke about aging and memory, but the fact is, just in the bones, age also does to the mind, but not as fast as it used to be. There's another quote that I want to do, combating ageism. That's the end of me there. I gained all kinds of weight and lost all kinds of weight in that show. Oh my goodness. But this is from Robert again. "The world is experiencing an unprecedented increase in average life expectancy and populating aging, described as a revolution in longevity. In the 20th century, the industrialized world gained some 30 additional years of life, greater than had been attained during the preceding 5,000 years of human history, and transforming what was once the experience of a few to the destiny of many." Now just think. We've added 30 years to our lives. What do we do with them? Well, we live in Hollywood. They don't care if you added 30 years to your life. The powers that be think anybody over 40 is old. Even if you don't look it, believe me, is this not true? Then they, but You don't have to think you're old. You don't have to live the old life. You can have this thing called the second chance. But even the internet, you can use the internet to find out who you are, because it is so broad, so broad. This picture here, this was written in, if you see the date, 1913. This is what they thought about us. Nothing doing, you guys are on your way. Look at that. To the human scrap heap, all men 40 and over, this way. That was back in 1913. Can you believe that? So you know what they think about us now. But you know, the truth of it is, they didn't want to pay pensions. Yeah, it's true. It's about the Benjamins. You know what that means? That's the street term for money. Now that we're living longer, because the food's better, medicine's better, environment's better, everything is better, but not money. If you're like me, you have enough, but not enough, because like everything is getting better, everything is also getting more expensive. Now, don't get despondent. It's time to start your second act. You know, they got some movies coming out about a second act, and Patricia Heaton, she's starring in as a resident doctor doing her second act. But a second act can also be finding peace with your first act and living a different way by painting instead of roller skating or riding a motorcycle. It could also mean moving into a place that works within your budget. Everything changes, and because of the extra 30 years we have on our hands, we have to go with the flow and change. Spend more time giving rather than taking. Do what's on your bucket list. Go to Nepal or climb the highest peak you can. I'm going to climb a hill. I ain't thinking about the peaks. One of the things I want to do is see the stars. Yeah. You can't really see them in Los Angeles because there is too much light. I saw on television there's this short train ride in Nevada that takes you to one of the last dark places in America. Did you hear that? Last dark places in America. We have so many lights, we live in twilight, and we don't even notice it. There are about 4 dark places in America. And I want to take that ride. And you can see millions of stars, the Milky Way. Oh, that's what I want to do. So while you're making plans for your second act and nursing the new hurts, thanks to aging, think of these verses to give you inspiration. Proverbs 16:31. Gray hair is a crown of glory. It is gained in a righteous life. Job 12:12. Wisdom is with the aged, and the understanding in length of days. Psalms 92:14. They still bear fruit in old age. They are full of sap and green. Genesis 6:3. Then the Lord said, my spirit shall not abide in man forever, for he is flesh. His days shall be 120 years. We're getting closer to that 120 years, y'all. I've already started on my second act. I'm writing a book. I'll let you read it when I'm finished, okay? Thank you. Now, I want to thank our wonderful orchestra. Lanny, you want to come back up here and talk? No? No, Lanny Hartley is bringing everybody here to play for us, and we're so lucky. And Dusty, thank you so very much. And Adrian, I know where is Adrian? He put the sound up. It takes our village. West is out there fixing the lights. Now you have to spend time with the artist and look at his work and ask him questions. And buy the musicians' records, please. I want one. Lanny, I want one. And they know each other too. And I just thank you all for coming. Oh, and I want to make there's an adjustment here. The next one, I'm going to be doing a tribute to Nina Simone on September the 8th. And I think it's time, because Nina was during that time when, everybody was like really trying to get it together. I think we're in that space now. Okay? So I want to see everybody plus their mama here on September 8th and listen to some Nina and go from there. Okay? We can talk about it. So could we all stand up and do our benediction? And I just want to thank Barbara Nathanson for just finding our artists. We get so many fabulous people coming here. And it's on the second page, and you know it. May the Lord watch between you and me while we are absent one from another. Everybody, amen. Y'all take care. And thank you. You were wonderful. Wonderful. Thank you.